Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Manchester United want 17 million to let Eric Bailly leave for Inter Milan. Now contract talks for Eric Bailly are on hold until he has assurances over his playing time. Now not so long ago, Eric Bailly apologised to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his Manchester United teammates for his disrespectful behaviour. Because it said that Bailly was furious with Solskjaer because he felt disrespected and not wanted by him. And Bailly believes we're only offering him a new contract to simply increase his asking price. Bailly's got like 15 months left on his current contract. We got Eric Bailly back in 2016 from Villarreal. We paid £30 million for him. He is a very, very good centre-half. He intercepts the ball well. He shows the ability to play out from the back, and he's also very effective in the air. My only element of concern about Eric Bailly is injury prone, so in that aspect he is a liability. He's actually lost his place in the Man United team. Inter Milan have obviously done good business with us. You know, they got Romelu Lukaku offers, they got Ashley Young offers, and they also got Alexis Sanchez off us. So there's a chance that Bailly will leave the football club in the summer transfer window. Quite a few players are going to leave Man United in the summer transfer window. I think there's a good chance that we'll sell David De Gea. I reckon David De Gea has now had his years at Manchester United. He's been with us since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. This is De Gea's 10th season at Manchester United, so he's been a long servant. He's made over 500 appearances in all competitions, and he's been our number one for a while. He has won everything domestically at the football club. A few years ago, he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world. But in the last couple of years, he's made calamitous mistakes, so reflecting on that, he has become a liability. We sell De Gea in the summer transfer window. I reckon we'll get around £50 million. We'll certainly get more than what we paid for him. De Gea has 2 years left on his current contract and he's on £375,000 a week. I think there's a good chance he'll go back to Spain. Main explanations is because he was born in Spain, his relatives are from Spain, his girlfriend's from Spain, he began his footballing career in Spain, and back in 2015 he was very close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine on deadline day, the deal never materialised. Not so long ago, David De Gea was out due to personal reasons, obviously the birth of his child. Now, Phil Jones, I'm also expecting him to leave. Phil Jones has always been an inconsistent player. This is his 10th season at Manchester United. He's the only outfield player that's still here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Phil Jones has been out of injury for over a year. Doesn't even get in our 11. Paul Pogba, it's looking very likely he's going to be leaving in the summer transfer window. I think there's a good chance he'll go back to Juventus because Paul Pogba did endure 4 good years with Juventus before he rejoined Manchester United. And Fabrizio Romano recently said that Juventus are refusing to give up on re-signing Paul Pogba. Juventus won a Paul Pogba swap deal. It recently said Juventus were willing to offer us Paulo Dybala in a swap deal for Paul Pogba, and it also mentioned they was willing to offload Aaron Ramsey and Adrian Rabiot to afford Pogba. Reports from the Italian press said earlier on this season that Juventus were willing to offer us 4 players in exchange for Pogba. He's had a long-running transfer saga. Pogba's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid, and he's also been linked with a move to PSG. But Paul Pogba still wants to quit Manchester United, and he's rejected a new contract. Damasio said not so long ago that Paul Pogba's got no intentions of extending his Man United contract, and his preferred destination is Juventus. You know, if Paul Pogba stays potentially past the summer, then there's a good chance he'll leave on a free next year. Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. Solskjaer said earlier on this season that he hopes Paul Pogba will stay and sign a new contract, and we had been in contract negotiations with Pogba, and Solskjaer suggested earlier on this season that Pogba could sign a new contract. Mino Raiola has obviously been desperate to get his client out of the football club. Mino Raiola recently criticised Sir Alex Ferguson for forcing Paul Pogba out of the club when he was younger. I presume all Man United fans disagreed with Mino Raiola for criticising Sir Alex Ferguson. Back in December, Mino Raiola made an announcement regarding Paul Pogba, saying that his career is over, he's unhappy and he has to leave, and he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. What?
That one on kitchen too.
And Solskjaer was furious with Mino Raiola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. But he did say earlier on this season that he's got no intentions of destabilising his client's season at Man United, and he made an admission saying that he's working... What? I know. Yeah. Yeah, as I was saying, yeah, he made an admission saying that he was working quietly on Paul Pogba's transfer because Mino Raiola doesn't have a good relationship with Man United and he has been criticised a lot. Don't forget, he did recently say that he doesn't give a fuck if he doesn't send another player to Man United as long as his clients are happy. But he is a very imperative player, is Paul Pogba, because he brings creativity to the team. You know, disregarding Paul Pogba, we lack creativity and we are far too defensive. And I think Paul Pogba is more effective, you know, on that left wing, you know, in more of an advanced role. He was out for a while with a thigh injury, Pogba. He was out for the first part of this season with an ankle injury, and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury, so sustained a few injuries now at Man United. As it stands at the moment, he is our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him, and this is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. He's won 3 trophies at the club so far. That's the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield. Batty's Popper, Paul Popper's brother, he gave us an update on Paul Popper's future earlier on this season, and he advised us to sell Popper in the summer transfer window because he said there's a good chance he'll leave on a free next year, and he said he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. But there's some Man United fans that would like to see Paul Popper stay potentially past the summer. You know, if he goes in the summer, we need to get a good adequate replacement. Donny van der Beek, I think there's a very, very good chance that he's going to leave in the summer transfer window. I think Donny van der Beek does need to leave because obviously he isn't getting enough opportunities at Manchester United. It recently said that we are considering a Donny van der Beek swap deal. 2O Sports said that Man United are willing to offer Donny van der Beek to Juventus in exchange for Adrian Rabiot. Mark Hughes was talking about him not so long ago, and he said Donny van der Beek feels lost and he's edging closer to a Man United exit. He said not so long ago, though, that Donny van der Beek feels loved at Man United, despite his lack of game time. He actually said he wanted to hold showdown talks with Ed Woodward regarding his future. Earlier on this season, it said that Donny van der Beek wants to quit Man United after one season due to his lack of game time. Donny van der Beek was out of injury for a while. Solskjaer did make an admission earlier on this season saying that Donny van der Beek is unhappy due to his lack of game time, but he promised him more game time at Man United. Ronald de Boer has actually backed Donny van der Beek to become a success at Man United. ESPN said back in January that we rejected several loan offers for Donny van der Beek, but we got him in a deal worth £40 million, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Nemanja Matic has a good chance we're going to offload him in the summer transfer window because he isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but he still gets his chances. In most of his games at Man United, he's been inconsistent, but he's had some good games. I've got strong reservations about him because he's always been a static player and plus he's aging up. I think we made a mistake giving Matic a new 3-year contract before the start of this season. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Juan Mata, good chance we're going to offload him because Juan Mata doesn't get in our team now. Juan Mata's current contract expires in June. There is an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Earlier on this season, don't forget Juan Mata rejected an £18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. I think he's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club over 6 years now. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. I think he's actually still out with injury at the moment. Edinson Cavani, it looks very likely that he's going to be leaving in the summer transfer window. Football Insider recently said that Edinson Cavani is willing to take a pay cut to join Boca Juniors. He's already got a verbal agreement with Boca Juniors. Cavani's current contract expires at the end of the season. We do have an option to trigger his contract for a further year. The Uruguay coach recently urged Edinson Cavani to leave. Solskjaer did say earlier on this season he hopes that Cavani will stay, and he did reveal that we have been in contract discussions with Cavani, but Ollie said earlier on this season that Cavani was closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Manchester United, and his father came out, Cavani's, and said that Cavani's unhappy, he's not comfortable in England and he wants to leave. Cavani sustained a few injuries at Man United, but I think he has made a fantastic impact since he's come in. We got him on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a second year. A lot of United fans are saying that we need to sell Anthony Martial in the summer. You know, Anthony Martial has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. So he's been criticised a lot. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer backed him to rediscover his form and he said he's been impressed with his work rate. I think Martial's had 2 good seasons. He was good last season and he was good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal. Martial has been at the club over 5 years. We got him in a deal worth 54 million from Monaco, and I think it was last season Solskjaer gave him that number 9 shirt. He's actually out with injury at the moment. He sustained an injury whilst he was on international duty with France. He had a hip injury for us not so long ago, and he had an injury prior to that, so sustained a few injuries now. And Delors, I think we'll be looking to get rid of him permanently. He's out on loan with AC Milan at the moment. But there's also a lot of players that will stay in the summer transfer window, and I reckon there's a few players at Man United that have got long-term futures at the club. In the summer transfer window, we're going to focus on the incomings and the outgoings. I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window. Apparently, Man United will spend big in the summer transfer window, according to recent reports, but Solskjaer wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. I reckon Solskjaer needs around £200 million to get the players he wants to recommend in. Solskjaer did warn earlier on this season that we may not do business as usual due to the coronavirus pandemic. But Solskjaer should get a good backing in the summer transfer window. He really should. Because obviously we've got John Murtough. He's our director of football. John Murtough knows the club inside out. He's been at Man United since 2014. And obviously Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director and he knows the club through thick and thin. Because he endured 2 decades as a player for Man United. And obviously Woodward, he believes that Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward. He did release a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, Woodward is backing him. And in general, Woodward's come out several times to show his support for Ole, even when we was enduring them very, very bad periods. I don't think Solskjaer's been backed enough yet as Manchester United manager. So, yeah, this year's summer transfer window is huge for Man United and Solskjaer. I can assure Solskjaer will be Man United manager in the summer transfer window. He'll be Man United manager next season. Because we've said that Solskjaer will not be sacked even if we fail to win the Europa League this season. The main explanation Solskjaer is still Manchester United manager is because he's a club legend. You know, disregarding being a club legend, I can almost assure he wouldn't have been here now. But I think Solskjaer deserves another season at the football club because progress has been made. But he must win a trophy at Manchester United, Ole. He's not yet won a trophy. And we haven't won a trophy since 2017. So we don't win the Europa League this season. That'll be exactly 4 years without a trophy. Solskjaer did say not so long ago that winning trophies can be an ego thing. He said that in regards to some other managers and some other clubs. And he says clubs like Man United trophies no longer prove success. In that aspect, I've got to totally disagree with him. Yes, we know Solskjaer's going to be getting a new 3-year contract worth 30 million. I can assure he won't see out this new 3-year contract. A lot of United fans disagree with us giving him this new contract. Does he deserve a new contract? In some aspects, yeah. In some aspects, no. You know, there's a lot of Man United fans that are Ole out. Not so long ago, Ole outs were trending on social media after our 3-1 defeat to Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final. They've obviously got main explanations why they want him out. But there's still some Man United fans that are Ole in that are saying, you know, he needs more time. And I think he is our best manager since Ferguson. But anyway, like I say, there's a lot of players we are looking at now. Earlier on today, I give you the news on Erling Haaland from Borussia Dortmund. Now, Manchester United have declined to meet Minio Raiola to discuss a possible deal for Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland thinks that Barcelona love him. Now, his agent Minio Raiola and his father Alf-Inge Haaland have flown to England for talks with several Premier League clubs. Not so long ago, Erling Haaland and Minio Raiola held talks with Barcelona and Real Madrid. There's so many clubs that are in for Erling Haaland. Borussia Dortmund revealed their asking price. It's 154 million. Dortmund are going to find it extremely difficult to sell Haaland if they are demanding that much. I think it said we're willing to pay 130 million for him. Solskjaer's spoken a lot about Erling Haaland, hasn't he? He said in his press conference building up to the game against Brighton that he's played down talks that Man United are chasing Erling Haaland, and he said he'll make his own mind up. There was narratives coming out a few weeks ago saying that Solskjaer kept calling Erling Haaland to persuade him to join Manchester United. He said earlier on this season he was following Erling Haaland's progress and he's keeping in touch with him. Solskjaer also revealed how impressed he was with Haaland at training when he was at Molde. And he revealed that he struggled with bad knees at Molde. Solskjaer's worked with Haaland. Don't forget to give him his debut at just the age of 16 at Molde. Back in December 2019, Ollie and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. Erling Haaland's father, Alf-Inge Haaland, he's spoken about his son's career and prospects, and he's spoken about his son's transfer links to Man United before. There's a good chance Haaland will leave Dortmund, especially if they fail to qualify for the Champions League. Haaland does have a £68 million release clause, but doesn't become active until next year. You know, Dortmund paid just 17 million, was it, for him? And he's under contract with them until 2024. Now, there's been a lot of narratives coming out regarding Harry Kane recently. It said Daniel Levy made a Harry Kane transfer decision, and he says Tottenham will not sell Harry Kane to another Premier League club. But prior to that, he said that Harry Kane is delaying his transfer decision until after the Euros, so he's refused to commit his future at the club. David Ornstein was talking about the Harry Kane situation not so long ago, and he says that, you know, Harry Kane wants to leave Tottenham because he is unhappy. He said he spoke to people. He said Harry Kane is committed whilst he's at Tottenham, but he wants to win the biggest trophies and he's not experiencing any of this at Tottenham. I think Harry Kane is valued at around £150 million. Now, obviously, you know the news on Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. I believe that Borussia Dortmund still want €120 million. €120 million equates to around 108 in pounds sterling. It recently said, we believe we've got a chance of getting Jadon Sancho in a cut price fee of around £50 million. It says earlier on this season we was preparing a £50 million bid. But last summer, Borussia Dortmund's valuation was £108 million and we was reluctant to meet that valuation. Sancho was our number one priority target last summer. And don't forget, he has visited our Carrington training ground quite a few times, so that's fueled speculation up. Said earlier on this season, we dropped our interest in Sancho due to the progress of Mason Greenwood. And there has been quite a few centre-halves on our agenda. Obviously, you know the news on Rafael Varane from Real Madrid. There's a chance Man United will sign him in the summer transfer window because the Spanish transfer expert Eduardo Inda has said that Rafael Varane could be on his way to Man United in the summer transfer window. And Spanish newspaper ABC have said that Real Madrid have set a 51 million asking price for Rafael Varane, and 51 million is cheap. Rafael Varane would certainly go well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. You know, Jules Koundé, there's been a lot of narratives coming out regarding him. Pau Torres from Villarreal, he's been another centre-half on our agenda. I don't really know much about Pau Torres, to be honest with you. You know, Sergio Ramos, he's another one who's been on our agenda. So, there you go. But, in regards to Solskjaer, even if we wanted to sack him now, we wouldn't be able to, because as far as I'm aware at the moment, no one is available to replace him. And to be honest with you, if we did eventually decide to sack Solskjaer, it wouldn't really solve much, would it? Because like I've mentioned before, nothing's changed at Man United in the last 8 years. It's just been an ongoing cycle of inconsistency. You know, because when we are inconsistent, not all of the blame stems from Solskjaer. Yeah, in some aspects, you know, the blame stems from Solskjaer, you know. This is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's second full season at the football club. I can assure we'll finish in the top 4 this season. I think there's a good chance we'll finish second. But I don't think a second place finish is good enough without the Europa League. If we can finish second and win the Europa League, I'll turn around and say, yeah, that represents a good season for Man United and that gives us something to build on going on into next season. You know, Solskjaer's been Manchester United manager over 2 years. And, you know, reflecting now on he's been at the club, he has gained some managerial experience. He's learned quite a bit on the job. He's tried quite a few different elements and stuff. You know, before he was with us, he was at Molde. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff. And don't forget, he managed the Man United reserve team for a couple of years. So he watched some of this team grow and develop. My 2 biggest concerns about Ole is that he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. And his decision making also concerns me. I just think Solskjaer is in a position he shouldn't be really in, and you can probably say that we'll give him the job too soon. Maybe we should have waited until the end of that particular season to decide or not whether to give him the job. But we gave him the job permanently 2 years ago because he did very, very well as the interim manager. He was interim manager for 3 months and he won 14 games out of 19 in all competitions. But Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club inside out. I'm actually not Ollie out at the moment, but he hasn't got a long-term future at Man United. And as soon as someone becomes available, that's when we should consider sacking him, you know. Because for me, Solskjaer doesn't have a big club arrogance as a manager. He doesn't have it. Yeah, he was a great player with Solskjaer. He enjoyed 11 years as a player for Man United. And he flourished under Ferguson's guidance. But he hasn't got what it takes as a manager. There's some positives to take from his tenure so far, though. You know, I like the way Ole has promoted the youth. He's made good signings as Man United manager. He's spent almost £300 million. You know, he's brought the likes of Dan James, Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire in. Brought Bruno Fernandes in. Brought Odin Igalo in. Also brought Donny van der Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani, Amad Diallo Traore and Facundo Palestri in. You know, he's got rid of a lot of players since he's coming as well. We have enjoyed very good periods under Ollie where we have seen consistency. In some of them good periods, he's got the best out of the team. We've got a very good away record under Ollie. You know, we haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. Did well last season in his first full season. You know, this season got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, got us to the FA Cup quarter-final, and got us to the Europa League quarter-final. And we are second in the Premier League. So there are the positives. I think mistakes have been made in the last 8 years, and that's why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. You know what I mean? You know, 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson. That was Moyes, Van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. I do think the board's been one of the biggest issues at the club for a while, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also overpaid for players, and in general, the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't got the players that they wanted to recommend in. You know, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013, which is 8 years ago now. So like I say, yeah, we have got some injuries. Rashford's out of injury at the moment. I heard he's out for the Brighton game tomorrow. Anthony Martial's out with injury. Greenwood's got a knock. I think he's out for tomorrow as well. Jones is injured. Juan Mata's injured. I think Lindelof has got a back problem. Mata's still out. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you for today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.